Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is Jake, and recently I pinched a nerve in my neck, which basically means my neck, shoulder, and arm are kinda numb. I've mostly been resting on the couch and icing it, but I hate doing nothing, so grabbed my laptop, decided I'd try getting into game dev. I've done some tutorials in Godot, and I've made an RPG Maker game last year, but this time I tried GameMaker because I wanted something in between simple and complex, and something that could just distract me from shoulder pain, I guess, and rewatching boring Netflix shows. After going through their docs and tutorials, I was able to pick up on the basics alright, and in the first week I made a simple game called Secret Jungle. My original inspiration was Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is my favorite from that series, and so it was like a stealth-oriented game in the jungle, but my art seriously sucks, and there was no way I could even build a tenth of the game mechanics in MGS. So what I settled on was just a simple game loop of kind of like run to the exit, and instead of combat mechanics, a simple quick time event to escape the enemies that grab you. What I learned from that first attempt was that AI was going to be the biggest hurdle for me. I do know how to program, but pretty much everything other than the eye was just a huge list of true-false flags. So I let a friend play it for some feedback and decided to roll that feedback into the next iteration of the game, Secret Jungle 2. The concept again was a stealth game in the forest with quick time events instead of combat, but I'd take what I learned from the first game and improve upon it with scaled down but a little bit better animated pixel art, a more comprehensive AI, and a scoring system based upon the player's use of stealth. Again, I'm not an artist, so for the second one I opted to size down the tiles to 16 by 16 and use Krita and a drawing pad. In the future, I'd like to better consider my color palettes and maybe work my way up to a 32 by 32 tile size, but as it stands now with some simple lighting, I think that this looks good enough. For sound, conveniently I'm a musician, so I use my own mics to capture various sound effects like leaves, sticks, paper, and sort of do my own Foley essentially. I also scrapped together some background effects in Logic and a nice dubstep tune as a theme, and even the background music you're hearing now. For game feel, I decided to slow the game down a lot more than the first one. The player and the enemies should move at a more realistic pace to make you time your movements more consciously. Enemies should also have more varied idle paths and not necessarily instantly sprint towards you on sight. With that, I put together a simple tutorial level where the players use their stealth, disguise, and a few tricks to get past some guards, but as I was wrapping this up, I kinda had an idea for a twist. I figure, when I play a stealth game, even MGS, I inevitably get fed up and try to go guns blazing, and usually it doesn't work, but I like having the option at least. So here I already have ruled out sort of combat with quick time events, so I wanted to create maybe like an alternative game mode triggered with certain conditions, and so I came up with the secret mechanic. So aside from the main goal of escaping the level, there's an alternative goal here to secure the secret that's hidden somewhere in the level. And if the player doesn't secure the secret and the enemies find it, the enemies begin mutating and the game turns into sort of a bullet hell until the player escapes. Not only is this a really cool change in pace for the player, with the music and the movement changes, but even during the base game loop it adds an extra consideration, which is planning your route to secure the secret, or if you want to ignore it, you need to clear the level before the enemies find it and begin mutating. So I think that this adds a really fun twist and just adds some more complexity to the game. At this point, I have the first level, I think of 5 that I want to build. I want to focus on fast iteration, so my goal is to have it finished in the next 2 weeks and then release it for free on itch for feedback. Ideally, I do one more devlog, release it, and then bake the feedback into Secret Jungle 3. So stay tuned for more. Thanks!